everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Bilikis. How have you been? I've been good. And today's tutorial will be on how to make this OBI belt. It is highly requested by my fans and I decided to make a tutorial on it. And trust me, it is very easy to make. So make sure you follow me on Instagram, Bilikis Signatures, and on Facebook, Sewing Innovations. And please make sure you subscribe, share the link with your family and friends, because you'll be stuck to this channel. So I have two fabrics here to make use of, and you can make use of any materials at all. It could be leather, it could be African print fabric, it could be any material at all. So it is not necessary that you have to make use of African print fabric. Then it is not necessary for you to mix it up, but for this tutorial I'll be mixing it up using the plain for the main belt and the pattern for the belt, and trust me, it's going to be very beautiful. Yeah, so right now let's go back to the work table to get started. Fabric is folded, as you can see, and then the essential measurement you need here is your waist circumference, because it's going to be around your waist. Then I will be making use of my mannequin for this. So waist measurement is 34 inches, so that means the wideness of this belt is going to be 34 inches. Do not add seam allowance to it, because you still want some space at the back for the longer belt to overlap before going to the front, meaning I'll have 34 inches this way. And for the height, on the average, which is just perfect, is 6 inches. 6 inches is just the average. If the person is petite, 5 inches is fine, but for anybody 6 inches is just fine. Then I will need half-inch seam allowance to sew this up, so I'm going to make it 7. So here now I have a height of 7 inches by 34, which I'm going to cut out. This is what I have, as you can see, though we are still going to have it separate. The next thing is to fold into 2 equal halves. This way. Then on the head here, you just have to get the midpoint. So half of 7 is 3.5. And on each side, you can just make it 1.5 to 2 inches on both sides, depending on how wide you want it to be. So let me just make use of 1 3/4. So you can make use of 1.5, 1 3/4, 2 inches. That totally depends on you. After doing that, I'll now have to connect from here straight to the head here in a curvy manner, and I think my pant curve will do a good job there. Or you can just use a straight ruler. It's not necessary to have it curvy. So this is what I have. See what I have. Isn't this beautiful? So that means I'm left with this point to open up. So that means the belt is ready. It's ready. We have 2 different ones. All we need now is the longer belt. You're going to tie to the front. So this is the wrong side. So let's go back to the longer belt. So just note whatever measurement you have here, and since I have 3.5 here, so I know what to cut with. This is the other fabric I'm using, and when you look at it, usually the width comes by 45 inches. So all I did was to fold it into 2. Then since I'm cutting by 3.5, So I just measured 3.5 inches because you need little. Can you see that? 3.5 inches because I need two, one for one side, one for one side. So the length of 45 is just okay for each belt, except you want more. So 3.5 now, and I'll be cutting. So can you see I folded it? So I have this for one side, then this other one for the other side. Have two belts ready, as you can see, but I want to make some adjustment at the end. So that means I'll be attaching this to the main belt in front. Then at the edge here, I'm just going to come here, measure 2.5 inches because I want at the end of the day the belt should be 2 inches at the tail here. So I'm just going to measure 2.5 at the edge. So whatever is left now, I'm just going to connect from that point upward here to about 6 to 8 inches from the point where I will attach to the belt. So let me connect it now. I want to trim that off. This is not compulsory, it is optional, but you can always be stylish about your stores. So it's just little. You could even highball it without marking it. Now this is what I have. Then I'll go back to this and just go up about 3 inches and then connect this way. See the way the hem is. So it is time for us to start sewing it up. It is time for us to sew it up. So the next thing I'm going to do now is to put an interfacing in the fabric. Like this is the lightest one because at least the fabric I'm using is still stable. So if it's the fabric you are using is so light, then you can use a harder one. But on a normal day, whatever material you are using for your belt should be, you know, thick. On a normal day because it's a belt, you don't want it folding too much. So I'll be making use of this lightest interfacing now to just glue it on the fabric on both sides. There's the wrong side, and also for the belts, I'm just going to glue it to the wrong side. All the fabrics are ready with the interfacing added to them. So the next thing I'm going to do now is this. Make sure right side are facing each other. So I'm now going to take in 1/2 inch, but because we use the same measurement for the other belt, I'm going to make sure each side I take in 1/4 inch. So when I take 1/4 inch here, or you can just take 1/4 inch from the beginning till the end, 1/4 inch, so that because we have both 3.5, so when you take quarter, you'll be left with 3 inches, and for this, when we take in 1/2 inch, we'll be left with 3 inches. So that is easy enough. So as I've said, 1/4 inch down, 1/4 inch down, then I'll bring it inside house. Then to the smaller belt, make sure you right side are facing each other this way. Then I'll take in 1/2 inch all down. So let me quickly do that. Now I've sewn it, as you can see. So another vital thing you should do is to notch, because you know it is slightly curved, so that is essential. Then for the belt, I've done the same thing. I've sewn it down 1/2 inch. So what I'm going to do is to trim this a little bit and then just notch around this curve area. Everything has been sewn and you can see how beautifully everything is formed. So the next thing I'm going to do now is to put this belt in the holes here. So what I did here is this. I just folded in 1/2 inch. I just folded it in this way, then give it a good press. So all I have to do now is to place this in it. So can you see that? So I'm going to go to the sewing machine to just run a stitch on it, and then you need to be careful. Like now the curve is towards the lower part. That means when you are fixing this, it has to be like this. It has to be like this. So it has to face the lower part. So you'll be putting it in this way. Can you see? So let me just go and attach this, and then we can see how it looks. Now this is what the belt looks like. Can you see that? So this is what it looks like, and you see the belt. So you could have it tiny, you could even have 1 inch. Just connect it the way I did that. Then the last thing you should do, which is also optional, is for you to top stitch 1/2 inch on the belt, especially with a nice color or a matching color. You do the same thing to the lower part, so it brings out the beauty too. So it's totally optional. So that is it on how to make the hobbies belt. So I'm going to place it on the mannequin for you to see how it looks on it. It's just so wonderful and a must have for you. So you can play with materials and colors, and it's just going to come out nice. So right now I'm going to turn the back for you to see. So this is what it looks like. So wonderful. So ensure you make yours and share with us on our Facebook group, Sewing Innovations. And tag me on Instagram, Bilikis Signatures. So I have to go now. Ensure you make yours. Bye.